Good morning, race fans, and welcome to Today at the Races on this, the last day of September 2021. I'm Tim Tulloch, joined by Keith Fustel, and wow, Keith, September just zoomed by.
It's gone.
Gone.
It's basically gone, right?
Gone.
A couple of days till we get to October, one day, and here we go. I mean, I tell you, just time is flying, but fall is here. It's you feel a little bit more chill in the air, especially in the mornings, and we've got some great racing in store for us this week.
We certainly do, and this past week, the weather has been amazing. We've got a lot to get to at the end of the show of upcoming events, but we're going to touch on the Canter for the Cause real quickly right here. That's October 10th up there at Pimlico. It is a great day. The kids, the adults, everyone gets a turn around the historic Pimlico track. And look, when you're a kid, you have a pony or a horse, and you might do other disciplines, but every now and then you just got to let them rip, and most kids do.
Yeah, I tell you, I don't have really much experience riding horses when I was little. My grandfather was an ex-jockey, did a lot of riding. Actually, I've said it before, used to exercise native dancer over at Sagamore way back. But, yeah, he put me on the back of a pony one time. That was the last time. That was it for me. He scared me to death, and he was going around a field. I said, that's it. I think that was about 5 years old, so that's my limited experience. But it's got to be great for the kids.
They love it. They love it. They have a great time. I've done a lot of those of Canter for the Causes up there for George and Hale, and it's a big day. But there's still the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
You'd still get on the merry-go-round. But be careful.
Every once in a while,
be careful.
Right,
you
right
get a shaky man of war on the merry-go-round, and you'll be in trouble. A lot of trouble. As I said, beautiful weather. Let's check out our conditions here this morning into this afternoon here at Laurel Park. The track will be fast. I think the track's been playing, for the most part, pretty fair.
Yes.
Here. The turf is firm. Temperature 67 degrees. It just couldn't be any nicer than it is today.
You couldn't have picked out a better day for racing. This is absolutely perfect. Again, if you got a chance to get down here and take in the races live, please do so. And the main track, we had a little bit of bias going for about 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Back to normal, certainly the last few racing days. So I'm hoping it continues like that.
Well, most of the horsemen are very, very pleased with the new surface here at Laurel Park, and I think it's been, as you said, playing pretty true. So let's get started with today's card. We've got a lot to get to. Race 1 kicks off the early pick 5, races 1 through 5, 50-cent minimum, and always industry low, 12% takeout in the early pick 5. We're going to start this race card off with maiden 40. The fillies and mares, 3, 4, 5-year-olds going to 5.5 furlongs on the turf. And we're going to start with your top pick in this spot, Keith. That is the 6, Chicago River. First-time starter for Justin Nixon. Xavier Perez gets the call. And this one's debuting as a 4-year-old this afternoon, but brings on a steady work tab.
Yeah, and we've got a stat. We'll knock the stat right out of the ballpark early. Here we go. Justin Nixon. I know it's a small sample, but please pay attention. The last 3 years, 4 for 6, 67%, 5 for 6 in the money with firsters, 4-year-olds, and up. Look at that ROI, 756. You pay attention to stats like that, even though it's a smaller sample. Chicago River's out of a mare. That was all right, okay? 5 for 8 in the money on the turf. Had a tendency, wanted to go a little bit longer. We've got a 5.5 here, but they've been very patient. These owners, trainer connections, they're very patient. And when they take that approach, they do well. I'm going to take a shot here. 1/2 to 3 winners on the grass. Little price play here with Chicago River.
And the dam broker maiden on the grass. Good outside draw, gets to break between horses. And, we've got really good trainers here, and then there's a really good horseman, and there's a combination of both. Justin Nixon might be that combination of both. He's a good trainer and a very, very good horseman. I have the 1 on top, Broadway Melody, here this afternoon. We have a video from her last start. This was on September 12th, and this one's getting when she got back to sprinting on the turf.
Yeah, we've got a few horses out of this race right there to pick up the 5 horse into the turn. She steadies ever so slightly. It's almost like she was a little kind of hesitant to go through a seam leaving the far turn, Tim. And she did it a few strides out of the gate as well. She broke, had some gate speed, and then kind of sucked back off the leaders. But she picks it up nicely here through the last 3/16 of a mile. She's going to work herself outward here with Toledo and close up quite well, gaining about 3.5 lengths to the final furlong. Could not quite catch Miranda's Diamond and a way to return. But all in all, I thought this was a pretty good effort. I think she's best sprinting. The blinkers
I
go
agree.
on. The blinkers are now going on, and Michael Merriman is doing quite well here in the early part of his career and has done great with the turf runners. This one, I think is going to be a major player in this race from just off of it.
He certainly has, and I agree. I think she's better sprinting on the turf. She gets to do what she wants this afternoon. The 3, Watch Me Disappear. This is a second-time starter for Tim Keefe. It was a little wide and out run and debut, but it really came and salvaged a pretty good race, only getting beat 2.5 lengths while running 4th.
Tim Keefe with a couple runners in here. Miss Boskanovich, Watch Me Disappear. They're both out of that same race, the video we just showed you. Maybe with the blinkers on, the 5-horse Miss Boskanovich is going to want to be aggressive. There's not a lot of true speed in today's opener, so I think that may be the case, and try to set things up for the 3-horse Watch Me Disappear, who just kind of got that settling trip. Shifted very wide, but continued on past the wire. So I think those 2 are definitely factors, especially the 5 up on the pace.
Yeah, I like Miss Boskanovich in her last start. She gets the blinkers today. I just didn't like the way she looked in the lane.
Okay.
She just kind of flattened out a little bit and just wasn't striding out like the way you'd like to see one late. So I left her off today, but the blinkers can make the difference. A firm turf course can make a difference also, as she had a good course in her last start. Race 2 is for fillies and mares, $5,000 claiming price, which have won 3 races or straight 3-year-old fillies. This kicks off the early pick 4. And Keith, you have a ticket for us. How'd you play it? Wow.
These are tough races.
These are tough races, no doubt.
Man, all the way through. Good betting card in store for you today, this Thursday at Laurel Park. So definitely don't be shy. You might have to dig a little bit deeper, spread things out a little bit. I do think there's going to be some prizes. $24 early ticket. Start with this, maybe add a little bit if you can. 1, 7, 9, 10 to get you started with, I think, a wide open race number 2. Race 3 as well. 2-year-old fillies, 5.5 on the grass. This is always a real puzzle. 1, 6, 9, and 13. Scratch the 11, Miss Midnight. Make sure you know the 13 still runs. My babe. Does run. Yep. Race 4, 3, 5, and 7. Haynes Fever, Manicomio, Galazzo. They look like the 3 to me. Manicomio going to be your favorite in there for Mike Girales. We're going to single Golden Can. If you go too deep, I think Epic Idea has a good shot right back. Out of that mare Calliope, we see the family. They do well sprinting on the grass. So if you can kind of double it up and make it a $48 ticket, don't be scared to throw in the 7 Epic Idea. But the race is going to go through the 6, I think, from the top of the stretch. Yep, $24.
$24 is a nice way to start off the day. As I mentioned, race 2 going 7/8 of a mile here, and you have the 9 on top, correct, in this spot? No, you have the 8 on top, excuse me.
Let's see. You know what? No, I've got the 9.
You've got the 9.
And that's I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It happens. My bad. It's going to be 9, 1, 7, 8 for me.
No big shake.
My apologies to everybody.
No big deal. I was guessing the 9.
The wet noodle trend.
When I looked at it. Look, this is for Rudy Sanchez-Sullivan, who's started this meet on fire. Louis Batista gets the call. Back at a level here where this one's found a little bit of success, the 9 Sacred Lady.
I appreciate you getting me straight there. So make sure 1, 7, 8, 9 are the users too in the early pick 4. So that's what we're going to go with. And I don't know why I just put the wrong numbers, but yeah. You got a barn here that's absolutely red hot right now with the sprinters even. Look at the last 45 days. We ran a stat the other day. I'll refresh for those who didn't know. 7 for 17 now is Sanchez-Solomon with the dirt sprinters over the last 45 days. Draws outside, I think, will be in range of the speed. Lambeau Lady I'm going to use. I think Stalk and Pounce for the 9, but the 1 could shake free and go a long way in her. Is the speed of the speed. I don't mind her going out to 7/8 of a mile. Dropping in class, she was against the bias her last 2 starts. Hopefully this track plays fair. Carlos Lopez riding very well.
Yes.
I think it's going to be, tough to get by her from the head of the lane.
And I think you can simply toss that last race for Lambeau Ladies on the mud. Gets back to a fast racetrack here today and certainly has the races. My top pick, the 8, Imagine Victory for Dale Capuano. Last couple of Charlestown, nothing to write home about at all. But the previous ones here, at Laurel Park against Tuffer, against two lifetime 16,000 earlier this year, were certainly good enough to win here this afternoon.
Agreed. She's going to be a little further back, I believe, especially I don't. She
7/8
doesn't quite have the speed, but coming back to Laurel clearly might be the key for her to settle and kind of make a loop and swoop kind of move.
8-1-5 for myself in race 2. Keith, 9-1-7 as we move to race 3. This is a maiden special weight, a very interesting race going 5.5 furlongs on the turf for maiden 2-year-old fillies. And we're going to start with your top pick in here, Keith. That's a 9 Vergara, 4 Graham Motion. Comes in here a first-time starter with a solid work tab, and they were willing to open up the wallet a little bit for this $130,000 purchase.
Absolutely. Sire not great with the first, it's 3 or 4%, but I like the bottom side, the mare. 2 wins, 2 seconds with 4 first-time starters. Likes the money. The family is good. I'm playing that angle, looking for some precocity for the 9 Vergara.
And I took the 13 in this race. Remember the scratch of the 11, Miss Midnight. 13 draws in and will run this afternoon for Cal Lynch. Georgia Ruiz gets the call. This was a big effort at Saratoga. Maiden special weight at Saratoga on the 1st September. Got beat 3 lengths for the whole thing. Had a little bit of trouble around there. Ran a solid number, a couple works. Comes back to that type of race from the outside, could be very tough.
Watched that race this morning. Was able to get position in a bigger field, dropped to the inside and tracked. Didn't quite kick on with the winner, but was still very game to the wire to save the place. Yeah, drawing in is the 13. Make note of it. Still my babe. I'm going to use the 6, Quality Control. Trombetta, here's a stat that I had the last 3 years with the first-timers on the turf. He was very light, 1 for 37, 7 for 37 in the money. I couldn't believe it, but he had one the other day. I think that was the one that paid a pretty good price, Be My Buzz or whatever on the outside that circled. But Quality Control by Quality Road, 14%, solid stallion with firsters and turf sprinters. You look at the family. The mare was good, 7 for 17, made $492,000. This horse is kin to March to Arch, global access, multiple graded stakes winning types. Might slip through the cracks because of that stat and get a little bit better price here for Trombetta. All those turf runners have been doing well. It's the firsters that haven't been doing so great. But I think this horse is going to be live.
I guess we can't, we'd be remiss not talk about the 1 Quali.
Yeah.
Another one for Justin Nixon, first-time starter. And Justin pretty good with his first-time starters, about 27%. Has been working well. Out of a pretty nice mare, graded stakes winner in her own right, and she's produced a couple nice horses, including Lucrezia, maiden special weight winner, multiple stakes winner. She ran second to Swiss Skydiver in the Gulfstream Park Oaks.
Yeah, wow. And we've got the mare. You're looking at that. Won her debut on this Laurel turf.
On the
way
Laurel
back.
turf.
Yeah, way back
Rodney
here.
Jenkins.
2007. So lots of ways to go into third. We could go on and on with some of the breeding of these horses.
Honestly, if it wasn't for the 1 hole, I may have had this one on top. But the 1 hole and then the draw in of the outside horse, and keep that in mind. Still my babe in race 3 draws in the 13. Race 4 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. Callie Francois will have a ticket later on this afternoon for the Rainbow Pick 6. This is for 3-year-olds and up, which have not won a race in 6 months or never won 4, going the 1-turn mile here at Laurel Park. You have the 7 on top, Galazzo, Keith. We're going to take a look at Galazzo's race, which was, the videotape probably wasn't even cooled off. That was on September 24th, 5 days in between races.
We're right back, and we're going to pick up the 3-horse Galazzo this day. I didn't have him, didn't like him. There was a couple other horses I opted for, but this race, he just kind of does everything on his own. Gets a little bit of a contested pace up front, surely. But Grant, he was ever so patient. Into the turn, and this horse just kind of drug him up to contention. Just rides towards the inside. Is gonna work out a trip here from the top of the stretch, and Galazzo is gonna get up. I tell you, angles out. This one surprised me, but this is the barn. We've seen it. These horses don't get a break. They want to go. This barn likes action, and this is kind of like a racing office's dream, right? You're going to get horses, and this guy fills the races. Big effort. I think you can go right back with another effort like that. He's going to be tough to beat. Manicomio is going to be your favorite. Here's a stat I had on the 5. Mike Girales. Listen to
Mike
this.
Girales.
Okay. Last 3 years with favorites. 16 for 20. Wow. 18 for 20 in the money with an ROI of 312. Playing the conditions the way you're supposed to, play them. Turf, back to dirt, a little drop. They've got a couple wins here off the claim since being claimed on the go back. Manicomio, the only hiccup I got with him, he's going to have to deal with talented Dr. V at some point. I think they're going to go ahead and send the 8. The 5 will make a move into him. He may just be that good and kick away. might take a little starch out of him, setting things up for Galazzo or even Haynes Fever, who just didn't show anything last time. I think he'll be better here on a fast track today. 7-3-5-9.
And going back to Mikey Dralis on Manny Comio, look, a small outfit, but he's winning at 34% this year. I mean, just red hot, puts his horses in the spots they can win, and they get it done. Interesting race here as we see. We need to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll talk about the late pick 5. Welcome back to Today at the Races at Laurel Park. Tim Tulloch, Keith Fustel. Race 5 is a state-bred first-level allowance race going 5.5 furlongs for the fillies and mares. This also kicks off the late pick 5 here at Laurel Park. Again, 50-cent minimum, 12% industry low takeout gets started in race 5. Interesting sequence. We've got some interesting races late in today's card. In race 5, we'll start out with the 6, Golden Can. Both you and I have Golden Can on top. I don't know how you get around this one. This has been in good form all year. Recent winner of the Open A Other Than. And look, Hassan Alarmi, he does pretty well. 27% with his turf sprinters.
Yep. That's his niche. I mean, that's his game. When you see, and we've seen horses from his barn pay huge prices on the turf, you know, scoring at 30, 40 to 1 odds, hitting the board at big odds. He's obviously got an eye, or he's got a feel for a turf horse. And Golden Can, she's quick, and she's rateable as well if needed. We've got a video, I believe, right?
We do, from her September 16th race.
Of her last win, Open A Other Than that particular day. And just like she clears a field that had some speed. Jock not even asking her, just under a light hold into the stretch. She responds when she needs to be set down here, coming to about the 3/16 pole, and has enough in the tank. Not some bad horses in there. You see Polished Gal on the far outside, a little flattening after some early trouble. She's back in again today, drawing towards the inside as well. But I tell you, good effort here. She might have to deal with some speed, response time to her outside, but I've seen this filly be able to sit just off of it and continue on and hold firm. So that's my biggest fear for her. If response time can carry it a little bit further and they get tangled up in a duel, maybe it sets it up for Epic Idea. I think she's a legit closer in here.
I like Epic Idea. We both like Epic Idea. I mean, you can argue about Epic Idea with Forrest Boyce this afternoon that this is the softest spot she's seen in a while. I mean, she's back down to this state-bred A Other Than level. She's been running in some stakes, a 2 Other Than in her last start at Colonial, where she ran third, only got beat 2.5 lengths, and her lifetime best race is over this course of distance.
Yeah, and you look at that last field Spun Glass we see later in the day, and a 3 Other Than is a horse I'm going to use.
Exactly.
Okay, so how do I not use Epic Idea here as well as she ran
Spun
against
Glass
her last time? So, Polished Gal again, a little trouble last time. A couple big races in a row. Can she keep sustaining that form? We're going to find out. Miranda's Desmond is the kind of a horse I think needs to improve a little bit, but it's lightly raced, has a chance to move up. But I think you're thinking like me that the two keys here are Golden Can and Epic Idea.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And Golden Can is your single in your early pick 4, if I remember correctly, so you're going to need that one. As we move on to race 6, this is an open first-level allowance race going a mile and 16th on the grass for fillies and mares, and we're going to start with the inside horse. 15 to 1 on the line there, Keith. Hugh McMahon, first off the claim, about 21%. Carlos Lopez gets the call.
Unfortunately, the price is going to go down. We've got a lot of scratches here. I was a little surprised. The 4, the 6, the 7, the 9, the 12, and all the alternates are out.
A little disappointing.
A little disappointing. A little surprised, especially, in what was shaping up as a really good betting race. It's still kind of, I'll say inscrutable, but it's a tricky race because there's no real ideal flow of this race. It looks like they're going to get out there, get the position, kind of lope along. I don't know if anybody wants to go ahead and steal away, but Volador intrigues me. I know claimed for 62.50, but has run against some solid horses. That winner came back to win a starter allowance race. You know, Tim, as your time in training, you get a good starter allowance type of horse.
Yep.
That horse can win a first-level allowance.
Absolutely.
No problem.
No worries.
You've got something McMahon liked about this filly. I think she can be forward enough in this race, maybe somewhere 3-4 out of it by the time they leave the far turn. Maybe Unshakable You goes to the front along with Vibrancy.
I think so.
But I think she can sustain a run against this group. I'm looking for value, and she's the one here for me off of the Colonial turf.
And Vibrancy might show a little bit early. So, that, in my experience, when you look at races, you go, there's no speed in there. It always develops because there's two other guys that go, hey, look, there's no speed in there. You got the fence, go ahead and go, or whatever. Typically develops. The 11 to the outside, Lachine for Graham Motion. This one took a long time to break her maiden, and her two recent tries at this level been okay. She might be getting a little bit better. Again, in the Colonial spot, Color Crush would come out of the race and win. Might have been a little bit tougher in a little bit bigger field. Yeah,
Color Crush stepped down a bit to go ahead and get the win. Certainly, Lachine another one doesn't have a lot of speed, just kind of that steady kind of a run. You're going to have to be put through a drive probably by the time they get the far turn to reach contention and go from there. So I think this is a little bit of a tricky race. I think Volador holds value. Line Dancing is a horse that I thought was going to be really, really good. After that debut was strong back in August of 20, but hasn't, it's come back and run some races, but I thought she was really going to be, a quality, filly moving up on the turf. But she brings it back, comes out of these stakes races. Mid-70, high 70. Guess what? That's probably going to win it here.
Her numbers over her last four races, if you can run back to those figures, could get it done here. The 11, Nowhere Near Time for Sugar McGee, Forest Boys, 27% together. This horse is interesting to me. Second off of the layoff, showed about 30%. Going to have to come up with one of her best races for sure, but boy, you can never discount Boyce and McGee.
No, and I liked this filly last time, and the good turf course might have been the downfall. Because the other races, you go back, Gulfstream, we talked about it on the show that day on September 11th. She keys up against some of the right horses. Lasix went back on. Don't give up on her. I'm definitely using her. We know that combination is just deadly here on the turf year in and year out.
And you look at that race, her last start on the good course. She was coming off that layoff, and she got outrun, and she typically doesn't get outrun that far.
Nope.
She typically lays a little bit closer, past some horses in the stretch, and that's always encouraging as we move to race 7. This is another I don't know if no, I think it's tricky at the end of the day, but it's a very, very interesting race. So a few nice young horses in this particular event for maiden 2-year-old fillies going 5.5 furlongs. And we're going to start with our top pick, the 6, Towser, another one for Justin Nixon, Buy Into Mischief, $225,000 to breed Into Mischief. Out of a nice, a good producing mare here in Little Cat Feet. And if anyone saw that race at Kentucky Downs, checked repeatedly might be a little bit of an understatement.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's all we can fit into the chart. There's only so much room on that computer screen when we can put stuff in for our short comments. Guys do a great job down in Kentucky.
They do.
Matt Metz.
But that race was a mess.
He's good, And here's the key for her. Justin Nixon, he's not a staple in Kentucky, okay?
No.
Right?
No.
12-horse field, 6-1. This horse was well meant at the windows. A lot of money poured in. Horror trip. You're coming back. You talked about the family. There's dirt. There's turf in the family. The full brother won his first 2 races on the dirt with good numbers. I think it was out in California.
It was.
Going to give this horse definitely another shot. Towser here for Nixon. Could be a big day.
Half the customer base who won the Robert Frankel out there in California, half the Hyperlink who won the Manatee, I think, at Tampa. So there's some blood there and certainly some talent. Look at those works. I mean, before she went down to Kentucky to run on the grass there, she was working up a storm here at Laurel Park, getting across this surface without any issue. The 3 and the 4 are in a video spotlight that we're going to pull up right now. The 3, She Is Whiskey, and the 4, Kimmy Chardonnay. This is the race from September 9th.
And this is a race where Kimmy Chardonnay was caught out a little bit, floated into the stretch, makes a pretty good bid, and presses. I thought She Is Whiskey might have run a little better race, was kind of up a little bit, dropped back a little bit around the turn, and made up some ground, was able to kind of find some room in between horses. There's Kimmy Chardonnay, a little drift, a little float there, but keeps on pretty well. Okay, going to shorten up a 16th of a mile this afternoon. Speed, a little stamina, always a danger here, but look at this one horse kind of weaving through traffic. Finishes up quite well for Jose Corrales. So give that one a little bit of a look as well, but maybe the money just pours in on Towser again like it kind of did down at Kentucky Downs. I'm going to give the edge to the 6, and don't leave the 9 out as well. You've got Jackie the Joker by Practical Joke. I don't know, this horse went for $2,500. A little surprising there. I don't usually like to see that for a $22,000 stud fee, but man, Practical Joke.
But the mare was a multiple stakes winner of $300,000, and look, this one's been working fast in the morning. Look at the most recent. She's clearly got some gas. 34-4 on the 26th. 3/8 of mile. Some good gate works here at Laurel, going 5/8 as we move to race number 8. This is a 3 other than allowance race. 4 fillies and mares going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. And we both have, you have the 2 on top, Spun Glass in my exacta. Let's start there, and we'll start with her video from her August 24th race at Colonial Downs.
Yeah. Spun Glass is one I think is, again, going to get a pretty good setup. I was hoping the Don't Let Sweet Fool You stayed in there, but didn't. Good sustainable run here at Colonial. We've seen the Colonial horses come up and handle this turf no problem. They seem to hold form. Yeah, the 9's going to be a big favorite. Robin Sparkles, no doubt about it. But I think this horse is kind of going in the right direction. She hinted at some ability. She's going to have to run a little bit faster.
That's
a little bit of a reach here, but
I don't think it's a reach. I have her in my exacta, but my concern about her is she topped off because she's shown this sort of form before back in the fall of 2020, where she ran 2 back-to-back races with good solid figures. About the same as she's run her last 2, and is that as fast as she can go? That's my concern. Is that it? Can she go any faster? We're going to find out. The favorite will be the 9, Robin Sparkles, and why not? She's 4 for 6 in 2020. She's 6 for her last 10. She's 5 for 8 on the grass. And she hasn't run a bad race since July of 2020, and that was on the main track.
Yeah, look at the company lines. Caravel, Catch a Bid, and good. I mean, just really good horses. She gets to set sail from the outside. I say the scratch of the 8, I thought that was going to be one that could really kind of force the issue a little bit more. But, yeah, maybe she just goes ahead and controls it up front. Beautiful Grace, the 6 has done absolutely nothing wrong. No reason why she couldn't hit your exacta or trifecta in here from just off the pace.
The number a little soft, but look, she's 2 for 2 on the grass. Can the Queen returns coming off that Sensible Lady stake win in July, and that one could show a little bit of speed.
She's fast.
She's fast, no doubt.
She is quick, and she held a long way against a pretty good bunch over at Pimlico.
Race 8, very interesting third-level allowance race. Race a 9, a starter allowance going 1 mile and a 16th. On the grass, 4 fillies and mares, and the 5 is both of our top picks in this spot. Sally's Mustang. For Mark Reed, Charlie Marquez gets the call. This one came off of a layoff in her last start and fired a big race, stretching out off the layoff, 1.8 miles on the turf, where she only got beat 4 lengths. While running third, should improve.
Yeah, I thought she ran quite well. I think she's going to be definitely closer in here. Was stalled a little bit coming to the quarter pole a couple times. Just never was able to really pick things up. I think we'll get in perfect stalking position today. I think Perfume River, you have to look at that one another time. Another time here. This horse was really keen. Wanted just to go last time. She's better suited from off the pace. We'll see if she can get kind of rated back further today, because that late run can make an impact against this group.
Well, the Perfume River got bumped around early, and sometimes that'll put, especially going 1.8 miles, put a horse especially a filly up on the muscle a little bit, getting a little disturbed, and then become not as rideable as they should be. Turning back to a mile 16th, the pace scenario should change. She gets outrun a little bit and comes with a little bit of a finish. We have the exact here in race 9. That will do it for today's card here at Laurel Park. Now let's talk about, you might want to take out your pens and papers. We've got lots of action coming up here at Laurel Park within the next month, so make some plans, start thinking about it now, and we're going to work from farthest away to the most present, and remember, we're going to start with the Maryland Million here, and that comes up. We should have a board for that, fellas. Maryland Million in the lightning round. There we go. Maryland Million, October 23rd. Here at Laurel Park. Always a fantastic day, always a big crowd. Make plans to join us.
Absolutely. I mean, great day. Get the fans back here at Laurel Park for the Maryland Million Day. Got to love it. Go back how long with Jim McKay? Mid-'80s, right?
Mid-'80s.
Yeah. Wow.
And Maryland Million Day states around the country modeled their state-bred days after the Maryland Million. We are the first, we are the original, and we are still the best. A great day out here at Laurel Park. Also coming up on October 10th is the Claiming Crown Preview Day. That's right here at Laurel Park. Ignore the picture. The Claiming Crown will be run at Gulfstream Park, but the preview day, one of the preview days, are right here at Laurel Park, so maybe we'll talk to marketing and work on that picture. But listen, that's October 10th, always a big day here at Laurel. Make plans for that. That's fun stuff.
It is fun. I mean, it gives some of the chance. Even some of the smaller barns sometimes they get, they get a little hot, get a little lucky with a claim, and they're able to kind of get through the ranks and go for really, they're all competitive races. Go for a little bit more prize money than normal as well.
And who doesn't want to spend a weekend in Florida in December?
Yeah,
everybody does.
Go.
So you get there, you make your trip to Florida with a good performance in the Claiming Crown Preview here at Laurel Park. Of course, the day after tomorrow, this coming Saturday, Fall Festival of Racing. We have 6 stakes, $600,000 in purses, a lot of good stakes, but I just want to focus on one real quick here. That's the Laurel Dash 12-horse field, Keith. I don't know how you line this race. I found this race very, very interesting and very, very competitive.
Extremely tough. Francatelli, a slight favorite. Boldor to the outside is going to be strong. Should get a clear trip. We just talked about it before the show. Mata is a horse that's just going great guns right now with Trombetta. I think the draw was perfect for his kind of running style. Take a look at him, tabbed at 6-1 right now on the morning line.
Yeah, and I have Mata as my price play of the day this coming Saturday because I thought this race was wide open, that anybody could win it. And I was scratching my head of who I liked better of the ones that you kind of thought figured. I said, you know what, I'm going to take a shot on Mata here above Very. I like Francatelli also. That's this Saturday, day after tomorrow, October 2nd, Fall Festival Racing. Should be a nice day. Make plans to join us on Saturday, and also make plans to join us tomorrow here at Laurel Park. Stronach 5 Friday. We are 2 legs here at Laurel Park. We need to welcome back in Santa Anita Park, and this is the way it looks like leg A here at Laurel Park. Leg B, Gulfstream Park. Back here to Laurel Park for leg C. Welcome back Santa Anita into the fold there, or leg D. And then as you most of the time we end up there at Golden Gate Fields in San Francisco for leg E. Make sure you're on board tomorrow for the Stronach 5, another big card here at Laurel Park tomorrow. That is going to do it for us. Keith, not Keith, Keith's right there.
Yeah.
But Dave Rodman will be up with scratches and changes next.
You got it. Good luck.